So, you're over 50, possibly flying solo again, and now you're asking yourself the big question, should I rent or should I buy? Look, this isn't some HGTV fairy tale. We're talking about your actual life, your next chapter. So before you flip a coin or phone a friend, let's break down the pros and cons of each decision. First, you're going to have to ask yourself some questions, because this really is about your life and your priorities, and maybe for the first time, it's really going to be all about you and the lifestyle that you envision for yourself. So think about, how long do you plan to stay? Here in Colorado, we always advise, if you're going to be here like 3 to 5 years, it's good to buy. But if you're going to be here less than 3 years, because maybe you have some aging parents you'll have to go take care of, or you're going to go help your children with the grandkids, then again, it might not pay to buy. Another question is, do you want to invest where you could be building some equity? Or do you want to keep flexibility, which is what renting allows you to do, making moving around very, very easy? I know, I did it for years. It allowed me the freedom to move around quite a bit because I wasn't staying in one place very long. Then think about the lifestyle that you want for yourself. Can you see yourself owning again, and what type or style of place would that be? If you're dreaming of locking the door and hopping on a plane to Italy for a month, renting might be your thing. If you're dreaming of painting your kitchen cabinets lilac and planting tulips every spring, you might be ready to buy. Now, let's do the money talk as you consider the financial aspects. Let's start with renting pros. Renting pros are lower upfront costs because there's no down payment, no closing costs. Maintenance ends up being somebody else's problem. Yay. And of course, it's easier to pick up and go if you're unsure where you want to land. Now, of course, we have to consider renting cons. You're paying somebody else's mortgage. You're building their wealth, not your own. And then, of course, there's rent increases because, they will increase. The landlords will landlord, right? And then you have the less control over where you live, over things like pets and decor. So the cons are really a loss of stability and control. And that's the pros and cons of renting. But now let's look at the pros and cons of buying. Pro number one is stability. It's your home and no one's kicking you out. Equity, your monthly payment builds value, not a landlord's beach house fund. And you have freedom to renovate, garden, host your book club or wine night. Of course, there's buying cons. Upfront costs, down payment, inspections, and closing costs are higher. You're responsible for everything when you own, even the roof. And market risks. If you move too soon, you may not get your money back. Straight talk, if you're staying put for at least 3 to 5 years, buying can make a lot of sense, especially here in the Denver suburbs, where home values tend to appreciate steadily. But if your life's still in flux, renting might give you that breathing room that you need. Now, let's touch on what this could look like in real life, because no, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy a 4-bedroom fixer-upper in the middle of nowhere unless you want a second full-time job. Let's look at housing options that might work for you after 50. Great options for solo living, if that's you, might be low-maintenance condos with an HOA that handles all that work you no longer want to do. Townhomes in quiet, walkable communities where you have easy access to the amenities that you love. New builds with main floor living, energy efficiency, and less surprise repairs. Or 55-plus active communities with built-in social life and maybe even near the golf course or that pickleball court. And then upscale rentals if you want that comfort without the commitment. This is the part where you get to design a home that fits who you are now, not the you from 1989 and not the you that had to compromise. This is your chance to choose what supports you in your next chapter. Listen, whether you decide to rent, buy, or live in an Airstream and chase sunsets, you deserve to make that decision with clarity, not chaos. I'm Peggy Durstoff, a realtor at Live Denver Suburbs, powered by HomeSmart, and I help women in the Denver suburbs navigate real estate transitions with less stress and more confidence, especially if you're doing it alone, like I had to. I've put together a free rent versus buy comparison guide. It's like a decision cheat sheet, and you can download it below. If this video helps you feel a little more in control of your next move, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another strong woman who might need a fresh start. Your next chapter isn't just possible, it might be your best one yet.